Tom Mitzi, Theater Director at the Thousand Oaks Civic Arts Plaza. And today my guest is Roberta Baskerville. Roberta, welcome to Living History of Thousand Oaks.
Thank you, Tom.
We're here to talk about Roberta's memories, reflections, and perceptions of Conejo Valley and the city of Thousand Oaks. I'd like to start first by asking Roberta when she came here.
Well, actually, I arrived in Thousand Oaks in 1988, so just 12 years ago. And but I had admired Thousand Oaks for a long time, and I remember so well when we used to drive from Los Angeles to San Francisco, and we would come through, and of course there was nothing much here then. That's 35, 40 years ago. And I remember Jungle Land, and also DePar's restaurant. We made a point of stopping there when we were on a trip north. So I remembered the area, but I thought it was so attractive. In 1988, when I was looking for a place to live, I'd come from Colorado back to California after several years, almost 20 years in Colorado. And it just appealed to me with the setting, the mountains. And especially coming from Colorado, I was used to mountains, so this setting was beautiful, I thought.
We are fortunate here in Southern California to have both the mountains and the beaches, and
yes,
of course the sunny weather. You mentioned Jungle Land. Did you ever go to visit Jungle Land?
I don't remember ever visiting there. It was just a kind of legend, you know. We knew that it was there, but I don't actually remember ever having visited it.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like you remember the Conejo Valley, though, for many years before you actually moved here.
Oh, yes.
You drove through before there was a freeway?
Well, I was wondering about that, whether it was actually a freeway. It was a highway, certainly,
Mm-hmm.
because we would go north toward San Francisco on it. But I don't know, that it certainly wouldn't have been as imposing a freeway as it is now, I guess, nor as busy by any means.
Mm-hmm. Has the Conejo Valley changed since you moved here?
Well, I would say that the setting, the beauty of the mountains certainly hasn't changed, but I've known a lot of growth in just 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
Many new things have come along, and it seems busier. I think we have a little more traffic for sure, but it still has a wonderful feeling about it. And I find when I talk to people who live here, I've never talked to anyone yet who didn't like it, who didn't like living here.
I agree. I think we're all fortunate to be here.
Yes.
Before we were talking, you said that you had majored in theater when you were in college. Of course, it's a subject close to my own heart, and the Civic Arts Plaza. Just curious whether you have attended the plaza or what you think of this edifice that the city has built.
Well, I think it's wonderful. I had come here from Seattle, and then, as I said, I moved to Colorado at one point and was very active there. And we lived in a community called Arvada between Denver and Boulder, and they had a performing arts center that was developed while I was there. So when I came here, I was looking around for the performing arts center, and it wasn't here at that time. So I was thrilled when I saw it going up, and it means a lot to me, attending performances, and also I'm a volunteer usher at the plaza, so I'm here quite a bit.
Well, that's great. You were saying your husband was a professional musician and also a composer and an author. Could you tell us a little bit about him?
Yes, he started out as in the Seattle Symphony and then came here, and he was in the LA Philharmonic and worked at NBC. He was a trombonist in the symphonies, and then he was a composer and conductor, and was eventually a founding person at the University of Colorado Music Department in Denver. He founded that department, really, and was associate dean there. So we were always interested in performance, of course, and in Colorado and here, and so it's just been a lifelong interest. I always helped him. Since my background was in theater, I was his stage director when we toured Europe with a group of 85 musicians. So I was very interested in the production end of it.
Mm-hmm. The Los Angeles Philharmonic, of course, plays here once a year.
Yes.
I wonder if you still know anybody or have any friends in the area, Phil.
Well, I saw the performance in the fall here, and I was thrilled with the orchestra. I can't say that anyone is still there that I would have known. There may be some musicians, but of course this was quite a good many years ago when he was there. But it's a marvelous orchestra.
Since you've been visiting the Conejo Valley and living here, what is there a single most important thing you think that's happened here, or the thing that you remember most about some incident or some occasion in your experiences here?
Well, I suppose just what we were talking about, the Civic Arts Plaza, that to me meant a great deal. But there are a number of things. The Global Senior Adult Center is a wonderful place. And in fact, I take classes there and have in French and Tai Chi and Shakespeare play reading. And so that's a wonderful activity here too. But besides that, there's a kind of rural feeling in a way. We have the sophistication of the Arts Plaza and a good many things open to us, but still we have this feeling that we're kind of set apart from the commercial, busier LA area.
I understand you chair the Thousand Oaks Committee on Aging.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, that's a 9-member council on aging. It was founded about 24 years ago when the City Council felt that they needed to know more about what seniors were feeling. And really that's the purpose of the council, to be aware of the needs and concerns of senior adults in this area, and when it's appropriate to convey those concerns to the City Council. But we publish a senior services directory. In fact, we're in the midst of it right now, of revising it. And that's a directory with all of the things that Ventura County offers to seniors. And it focuses particularly on Thousand Oaks. But that's one of the things we do. And then we're very active in seeking senior discounts at the malls and stores through the Chamber of Commerce. And we give a big banquet once a year, naming the Senior of the Year, the Volunteer of the Year in the area. And that's quite a popular thing. Right now we're taking nominations for that. And people nominate the seniors, and then we interview them and name one, although that one just represents seniors generally in the area.
If you had the power to do or make a change in Conejo Valley, is there anything that you would like to see changed?
Well, that's difficult when you admire a place as much as I do here. I think one of the things that's important is to try to maintain this semi-rural feeling that we have, and that's protecting our mountains, I guess, as much as anything. And as you were saying, it's so wonderful to be able to drive to the beach if you want to. We really have everything here. I can't think of anything. I would like to see us have an art museum.
Oh.
That's something that I feel that it must be in our future. Of course, we have some wonderful visual art displays in the Civic Arts Plaza.
Yes, we do.
I know we do. But I think that as time goes on, we'll want to have a museum.
I think there are a number of things that are still in our future. Thousand Oaks is still a very young city.
Yes, it is. It's true.
I mean, look at Europe with the centuries of history they have and the wonderful museums and theaters. That still lies in our future. So.
Yes, indeed. Oh, I'm sure it'll all come in time, because there are many people who are interested in that sort of, in the arts. I think that must be reflected by the fact that the Civic Arts Plaza is so popular with people.
Yes, it is.
So we know that there's interest out there.
Now, you are a volunteer usher that works with the Friends of the Civic Arts Plaza.
Yes, right.
How did you get involved with that?
Well, I started about a year ago and took the training to be an usher. And I think the thing that appeals to me is just being around the theater. I've always liked the production end of it, and so to me it's just fascinating to be here and see what's going on all the time. There's such a variety of things that it's a wonderful opportunity.
Well, I know that the Civic Arts Plaza is really very reliant on volunteers, and they form sort of the backbone of the operation and programming. So it's people like you and your participation in the community that really makes it accessible to a wide variety of people. Is there one person or one group of people that you think have had a major impact on the Conejo Valley?
Well, I'm sure there are a number of not only people but organizations over the years. I can't speak for people that were here before I was, although I'm always delighted to hear people talk about their memories of early Thousand Oaks and the stories they can tell. I'm sure that there are many families that had a lot to do, the Jans family, many others, and groups. And as I was saying, I think the Goebel Senior Adult Center, that has had an impact. As we look in the parking lot and it's full of cars all the time, we know that people are finding outlets here.
Mm-hmm. If you were going to describe the Conejo Valley or City of Thousand Oaks to a friend back east who had never been here, what would you tell them?
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm having house guests this week from Colorado, and I'm anxious to have them see what we have here. I think I would just say that it's a very interesting location. It's halfway, you might say, between Los Angeles and Santa Barbara. And there's so many beautiful things to see along that trip as you go north, certainly to Santa Barbara. And it does have this rural feeling, but it has many of the wonderful things about a city. I think we have an outstanding library, for instance, that could be represented in a very large city.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand our population's about 120,000.
I think that's correct.
Yes, and that sounds like a good number to me.
It does sound. It sounds like a lot.
Yes, yes.
But I think we're fortunate that we have so much space that people still have room to breathe. And
yes. Well, it's probably an ideal population number. I don't know how much larger it will get. I know there are many people that hope it won't get much larger. But I think it's very hard to hold back on development, although we certainly try to preserve the open space around here.
Yeah, I think the open space is one of the more unique things about Thousand Oaks.
Oh, I think so too. I think so too.
People really appreciate it.
Yes.
Are you a hiker?
Not really, no. Tai Chi is as far as I go in exercise. And they have a wonderful class here at the Goebel Senior Adult Center.
Is there anything else you'd like to say about just your thoughts about the Conejo Valley and Thousand Oaks? Well,
I feel it's a wonderful place because we do have access if we want to go into Los Angeles, although I find less and less need to. But there are many wonderful things, of course, that go on in the city, and we can get there, and we can get over to Malibu or the beach, and I just think that I'm perfectly content to live here. I love to travel and see the rest of the world, but somehow coming back here is it's very reassuring to live in a community like this.
Well, Roberta, thank you for being our guest today.
Thank you, Tom.